สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning, distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kannat Wattana Suthiwong, and it is my pleasure to be your MC for today's conference. On behalf of Center for ASEAN Studies, Thammasat University, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you to TU ASEAN International Conference 2016 under the topic of Global ASEAN and the Evolving Regional Architecture. TU ASEAN International Conference 2016 is a knowledge-sharing platform for development and research for the ASEAN community. Center for ASEAN Studies, Thammasat University, as a host for today's conference, we really appreciate you taking time of your busy schedules to join us today. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, I would like to ask for your kind cooperation in turning your mobile devices to silence mode to avoid the interruption during the seminar. Thank you very much for your kind cooperation and attention. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite all of you to pay our respect to His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej. Please stand up and observe a minute of silence in tribute to the memory of the late King. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to begin the proceedings of the conference. May I please invite Associate Professor Dr. Prapat Thepchatri, Director, Center for ASEAN Studies, Thammasat University, on stage to deliver his welcome speech. Please give a big round of applause to Associate Professor Dr. Prapat Thepchatri.
Dr. Surya Chindawong, Deputy Director General, ASEAN Department, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, Professor Dr. Pramuan Thepchai, Vice Rector, Thammasat University, distinguished panelists and participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of the Center for ASEAN Studies, Thammasat University, I would like to extend our welcome to all participants attending this conference. In the year 2011, the Center for ASEAN Studies, Thammasat University, was established as Thailand's think tank mechanism for the ASEAN community. The center's vision is to be a think tank on ASEAN at national, regional, and international levels. We have 5 missions: training, think tank, research, information center, and networking. Both in-house training and public training courses are organized with particular emphasis on preparing Thailand for the ASEAN community. The center offers research and consulting services to public and private sectors. We have been commissioned to do research by the Civil Service Commission, Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, Office of Public Sector Development Commission, the Ministry of Education, and the TCEP, or the Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau, helping them formulate strategies toward ASEAN community. Activity related to think tank vision includes this TU ASEAN International Conference, which will serve as a regional platform for scholars and think tanks in the region. We hope that this TU International Conference will evolve over the long term into an important think tank mechanism, attracting scholars and stakeholders on ASEAN studies both within the region and beyond. This year's conference, the theme is Global-ASEAN and the Evolving Regional Architecture, and we will have a privilege to have a keynote speech by Dr. Suriya Jindawong, Deputy Director General of the ASEAN Department, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand. After that, the conference will be divided into 4 sessions. The first 2 sessions will emphasize the role of major powers and Global-ASEAN in the regional security system. Session 3 and 4 will deal with the role of major powers and Global-ASEAN in the evolving regional economic architecture. In conclusion, on behalf of the Center for ASEAN Studies, Thammasat University, we sincerely hope and would like once again to thank all panelists, moderators, and participants for making this TU ASEAN International Conference 2016 a successful one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Prapat Thepchatri, Director, Center for ASEAN Studies, Thammasat University. And next, I would like to take this opportunity to invite Professor Dr. Pramuan Thepchaisi, Vice Rector for Research, Thammasat University, to officially deliver an opening remarks. Please give a big round of applause to Professor Dr. Pramuan Thepchaisi.
Dr. Suriya Jindawong, Deputy Director General of the Department of ASEAN Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, Associate Professor Dr. Prapat Thepchatri, Director of the Center for Asian Studies, distinguished scholars, participants, ladies and gentlemen. On the behalf of Thammasat University, I'm honored and very delighted to welcome you to the Thammasat University ASEAN International Conference 2016 with the theme on Global-ASEAN and the Evolving Regional Architecture, organized by the Center for ASEAN Studies, Thammasat University. As you may already know, Thammasat University is one of the leading academic institutions in Asia. The university has been established for more than 82 years and produced a large number of graduates of different disciplines and at all levels of higher education. It has built the knowledge base and solving the country problems as well as serving the public interest. The university has determined to manage educational services in response in line with the international standards and to create different curricula in response to the demands of the nation, the rising Asia, and the Asian community. In addition, it also promotes closer academic cooperation with leading universities in the ASEAN region and beyond. Realizing the importance of the ASEAN community, Thammasat University has established the Center for Asian Study in 2011 as the main track for mechanism for Thailand to be well prepared for the Asian community. The Center for Asian Study aims to be a think tank, building the knowledge base and presenting its study to the society both locally and internationally. I sincerely think that it is very timely for the Center to organize the TU ASEAN International Conference 2016 with the theme on Global-ASEAN and the evolving regional architecture. In the rapidly changing geopolitical landscape, ASEAN uphold and strengthen ASEAN unity, cohesiveness, and ASEAN centrality in the evolving regional architecture that is built upon ASEAN-led mechanism. As an outward-looking community, ASEAN will continue to deepen cooperation with dialogue partners, strengthen engagement with other external parties, reach out to the new political partners for mutually beneficial relations, and play a responsible and constructive role globally based on an ASEAN common platform on international issues. Moreover, ASEAN is continuing to make steady progress toward integrating the region into the global economy through free trade areas and comprehensive economic partnership agreement with dialogue partners. Negotiation to conclude the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, is also ongoing. This will strengthen ASEAN's position as an open and inclusive economic region and lay the foundation for ASEAN to retain its centrality in global and regional engagement. ASEAN will work towards further integrating the AEC into global economy, eventually towards a governed ASEAN. These are some of the important points to be discussed in the conference. The TU ASEAN International Conference will be the platform for knowledge exchange and collaboration with Asian study. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Surya Jindawong, Deputy General of the Department of Asian Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, for giving a keynote speech in this conference, as well as distinguished panelists from the region. This time is now appropriate. I would like to take this opportunity to officially open the TU ASEAN International Conference 2016 on Global-ASEAN and the evolving regional architecture. I sincerely wish for the conference to move ASEAN forward towards a global ASEAN in the years ahead. I strongly hope that the outcome of the conference will provide recommendations and will be fully utilized at the national and international level as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Pramuantep Chaisi, Vice Rector for Research, Thammasat University. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to bring you all to our special keynotes under the topic of Global ASEAN and the evolving regional architecture. We are privileged to have Dr. Surya Jindawong, Deputy Director General of Department of ASEAN Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as our first speaker today to deliver the keynote speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to Dr. Surya Jindawong.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My voice is giving out on me, but I will try my best to say a few words. It's not a keynote. keynote address. Keynote address is reserved for very distinguished speakers, and in the audience are very senior colleagues who are very well versed in ASEAN affairs, who can accomplish this task much better than me. But in any case, I'd like to thank the Director Prapat and the Vice Director for inviting me to say a few words on the topic, a very timely topic, Global ASEAN and the evolving regional architecture. And I'd like to start, voice or no voice, to raise perhaps a controversial question to kick things off. Is ASEAN global? I think that's a very important point to address. Having worked in ASEAN in and out for the last decade and a half, the question still is something we have to consider. Is ASEAN global? Well, it depends on what you mean by global. If you mean global to be in terms of aspirations and interest in global events, a willingness to engage in dialogue on important global issues, then certainly ASEAN, or what we call now the ASEAN community, is global. But if you mean global by a player in global affairs, a shaper of global trends, a strong common voice on critical global issues, then we will have to assess, does ASEAN achieve all that? Let's take the issue of global voice. Does ASEAN have a single voice in global affairs? Well, we certainly coordinate, whether it's the United Nations in New York or other places, to a certain extent also at the WTO, World Trade Organization, in Geneva. We certainly coordinate in the G77, G20, but experience has shown that although we have common statements, we don't really have a strong common voice on the major global issues that face us. And there's nothing wrong with that, because ASEAN is a very diverse organization with different histories, different cultures, different backgrounds, different perceptions of what are the key priority issues for each member state. This is natural. We don't aim to be the European Union, where everything is coordinated and there's a single voice on everything. We have to reflect our reality, and that is we are a group of countries with differences, with diversity, but with common aspirations, a common commitment to shared goals and shared values of our region. So we are global, but not a global player, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I just want to get that message out at the very beginning before we start talking about the regional architecture, which is the main topic today. Now, if we are not a global player, but we try to have a sense of direction, an opinion on important global issues, then how does this role play out? Well, I think it's very clear then that the global ASEAN is an ASEAN that is on the lookout for those important global trends which we see as impacting on Southeast Asia. And if we have that parameter, then I guess it's easier to assess and to determine what our positioning should be within our region, which is where we have the strengths. And then to the critical question of how we shape the evolving regional architecture that is important to all of us. So we keep an eye out on the important global trends, and there are quite a number, as you can imagine. Extremism is one. Why does it impact on our region, even though it's far away? Well, there's the issue of foreign terrorist fighters. There's the issue of what I like to call the demonstration effect. That is, if certain modes of extremism succeed or seem to be succeeding, it may cause inspiration for other groups within our region to do likewise. And that threatens the very core of ASEAN, which is an association, a community built on respect for diversity within each member state and between member states. And that is why the issue of the global movement of moderates, for example, which was launched as an ASEAN strategy during Malaysia's chairmanship of ASEAN a couple of years ago, was very important. There, of course, are the global trends. Climate change, which have an impact on natural disasters, making our region the most prone to natural disasters. We have, of course, the longer-term trends, lack of access to a shrinking pool of natural resources, energy, water, food. These impact ASEAN and how we plan our community building. And then, of course, the big question that is on everyone's mind, which I intentionally kept for last, are, of course, trends in the European Union with Brexit and the recent elections in the United States and what these portend, how these would impact on the ASEAN community. I think Brexit, for instance, hammered home the following point, and that is the community building process must require strong grassroots support. ASEAN claims to be people-centered. Now we have to prove it, because if we don't do so, and there is that disconnect between what is being done at the mass level and what is being done at the policy level, you may have a situation in the future, not now, but perhaps in the future, where there's increased questioning of the value of ASEAN community to our lives. And I'm not saying there will be a potential Brexit here in ASEAN, but it's something to think about. Equally important is that the Brexit does have implications for the EU. And the overall assessment is that the EU will be more focused, I guess, on internal issues. Now, how that would impact on their relations with ASEAN and with the region remains to be seen. There's certainly political will, but will the political circumstances force the EU to spend more time looking within itself and with their immediate neighborhood? For ASEAN and for Thailand, it is important to keep the EU engaged. They are an important dialogue partner. And so we think that this is the way forward, enhanced engagement between us and the EU. Recent elections in the United States, what certainly has caused, one of the results of that, the certain result of that is greater uncertainty, at least in terms of the US view towards our region. Everyone is sort of in a wait-and-see mode. But this does not change, I think, the overall character of US engagement in the Asia-Pacific. There are immense interests of the United States here in this region, in the Asia-Pacific. And therefore, there will be, in my humble opinion, a continued engagement. The form may change, but the level of engagement should not change that much. Another thing that won't change is the enhanced engagement or interaction between the major powers, United States, China, Japan, and others. In my view, I don't see this as just an equation involving the United States and China. There are other players. But the overall trend is that the competition will be enhanced. Why? Because Southeast Asia and the Asia-Pacific will still remain an important driver of the global economy. And everyone wants